And welcome here to TalkFCB, and welcome back to the channel here today, guys, where the international break is officially over, and Barcelona, they are back. And the big question on all of our minds right now is, what's going to happen this Saturday against Las Palmas? How will we return from the break? And how will we prepare ahead of that all-important first leg against Paris Saint-Germain? So many questions right now are swirling around, and we are going to have full discussion on the lineup, on the latest team news, the injury situation right now, and along as well with my prediction for this game. It is all coming your way today. We are back! So let's do this. But as we do indeed get down to the serious business again, today's video, guys, is coming to you courtesy of Manscaped here today, who are here to help us stay at the very top of our game. That's what's needed right now. It's all about arriving on the big occasion feeling good, and with only the very best men's grooming products available for you. How about the Ultra Smooth package? Because that's for the all-important work, should we say. Shaver there, complete with exfoliator, gel, and 6 replacement blades. Or maybe you'd rather the Beard Hedger Pro Kit, because that there comes complete with beard shampoo, conditioner, oil, and balm. Everything you would need there is all taken care of by Manscaped. And if you do go across there onto the website right now, there's so much to choose from. The products are fantastic, and there is 20% waiting to come off your order. If you use the code TalkFCB at checkout, just tap that in, get yourselves a saving, and help the channel as well in the process. Thank you to all of you guys, and indeed to Manscaped. Because on Saturday at 9 PM local time, live from the Olympic Stadium in Montjuic, Barça will be hosting Las Palmas in round 30 of La Liga. And as you can see right here, guys, just a refresher here on the league table, we do still stand 8 points behind Real Madrid. We are back in second place right now, but a win on Saturday would take us within 5 points of Real. And what's important to bear in mind this weekend is that on Sunday, Real Madrid will play Athletic Club. So that there is a tricky game for them. They are at home. They will, of course, be the favourites, but Athletic have been on outstanding form of late under Valverde there. And I think what we've got to do this weekend is apply maximum pressure. Win our game, do our job on Saturday, and put a bit of pressure there on Real ahead of Sunday. And I think the important thing as well, guys, is coming back from an international break. It's never easy for us, is it? You know, for many teams, but particularly here at Barça, we're always a bit fearful. We're always a bit concerned that we're not going to be the same team that we were before the break. Because let's not forget, the confidence was there. The feelings were very, very good there. Wins against Napoli, big win against Atletico Madrid. That's what we all wanted. That was what we were all craving, and we were all feeling good. But we have to keep that going now. We cannot allow this international break to disrupt our rhythm, to disrupt the momentum that we were building, and that is why there's big questions here about rotation. Because obviously, this is an important game. We want to win in La Liga. We want to make sure that we take care of business here against Las Palmas, but we've also got that PSG game looming, which obviously, if you had to choose there, if you had to put our priority somewhere, it would be in the Champions League right now. We have more of a chance there of getting through those games in terms of making a deep run in that competition, maybe, than we do in La Liga right now. So, of course, PSG is very much in the forefront of our mind. But, of course, the most important thing is, when you're looking at the schedule there, when you're looking at the timing of these games, well, Barça still have a very, very good gap there, and a rare weekend off ahead of that first leg against PSG. We will have 11 days in total from this game here against Las Palmas before that first leg against PSG. That's because of the Copa del Rey final happening next weekend. There'll be no matches in La Liga. That coincides there nicely with the Champions League. So I actually think here the most important thing when you're thinking about that PSG game, because of that gap, it's mainly about protecting players from the international break. That's more of the focus here. Not about PSG, but actually protecting those players that did have a demanding break, that were in action regularly for their country, that haven't had much rest at all. Because obviously the most damaging thing that can happen right now are injury problems. So you want to be protecting those players who may be more at risk right now. And I think also what that big gap between this game and the first leg means for Barça is that we have to do well here. We We have to make sure that in this game, we put a marker down. We continue those good feelings, because if we don't, it's a long time there. 11 days of doing nothing, just sitting around waiting, not feeling good after the game we played, not having that confidence, not having that momentum. That's why it's important here that we bounce back from the international break, we start as we left off, and then we make sure the feelings are good and that everyone is nicely protected ahead of PSG. Because in terms of our opponents here on Saturday, Las Palmas, they do currently stand right now in mid-table in La Liga, and it has been a good season for them overall there. Garcia Pimienta's side have had a good campaign, but I think their recent form has been kind of terrible, guys. Honestly, they have one win in their last 8 games in La Liga. They had a narrow defeat to Real Madrid back in January, as they did to us, but they did lose by 5 against Atletico Madrid in February there, and Barça did indeed beat them in the reverse fixture, like I say, back in January by 2-1, but that was a really, really tight game against Las Palmas. It was not at all convincing on Barca's side, and it took a 93rd minute Gundogan penalty to give us all 3 points back in January. I did think though today, guys, that it was very interesting to hear from Xavi on his future, because obviously right throughout the international break we've heard more and more reason there to believe that Barca are hoping that Xavi can stay. Laporta in particular is really hoping that Xavi will eventually change his mind and remain as the Barcelona coach. And Xavi, of course, naturally was asked about his future in the press conference today, and he came back and said, I'm really grateful to the club, to the president, to Deco, because of what we're hearing, because of the support that they are giving me. But he said nothing has changed about my decision in order to leave the club there. He said there are no substantial changes, but the key word for me is thanks. I really am grateful. So Xavi, they're saying that as of now, there is still no change, and he still intends to leave at the end of the season. On Saturday, though, Xavi will, of course, be suspended for the match against Las Palmas. That comes after his red card against Atletico Madrid. Not for the first time this season. He will not be on the touchline. His assistant there and brother will take over in his absence. Oscar Hernandez, of course, or Oscar Klopp, as he is known there in the dressing room. And we might need some of that Klopp energy to come in these very, very important matches ahead of us. But I want to talk over now some of the players in contention for this game and some of those who are not. Because Marc-Andre ter Stegen, there was real concern for him in training this morning, because actually a video emerged where he was on the floor. People there were tending to him. He seemed to be clutching at his knee in quite some discomfort. But the good news on that is that it was only a very minor blow. It was almost a knock to his knee that just gave him a bit of pain. There is no lasting damage, because after that there, he continued with the full training session with the rest of the team. He is absolutely fine. That is a big relief. And then there's Ronald Araujo, because obviously he returned to Barcelona earlier than was expected in the international break. There was no injury, but there may have been just some very slight discomfort and just taking no risks at this stage. Now, he trained without any problems with the first team today, so that shows there that Araujo is okay. He is absolutely fine, but the word in the media right now is that he will not be risked this weekend. Ahead of that PSG game, he is one of those players who almost certainly will receive some rest to make sure that he is absolutely ready for PSG. And then there's Christensen, who of course had to withdraw very late from the lineup against Atletico Madrid. He then didn't go on international duty with Denmark there. He's believed to have some discomfort in his Achilles, and he did not train with the group this morning. So that does not look so good there for him. He will not be involved there against Las Palmas, but the club are hopeful he'll be back for PSG. Which, as a result of all of that, means that ter Stegen will be okay to start in goal. And then at centre-back, I think we could see Inigo Martinez come into the team, possibly there Pau Kubasi alongside him, with Cancelo returning to the lineup as well. He didn't, of course, play against Atletico Madrid. I think he'll come back in at left-back here. And the big question really will be, at right-back then, will it be Jules Koundé or will it be Hector Ford, who, don't forget, played a fantastic game against Atletico Madrid. He really did equip himself very, very well, and in a game of that magnitude. But I think here, because of that extra rest that we will have after this game, Koundé usually would have been a contender to rotate. He has played a lot of football, but I think Xavi will start him here, because I think Xavi will be determined to keep this back line together as much as possible there. You're resting Araujo, you're not going to be able to play with Christensen, so I think Koundé will still play, Kubasi will still play, and then Cancelo and Inigo will make up that back line, which moves us on then to midfield, because of course there is going to be no Christensen, who has been so good in that pivot role, so that will be a big big blow for Barça, which means that Gundogan, he will keep his place. And I've got to admit, guys, I'm a bit worried about Ilkay Gundogan. He has played an absolutely extraordinary amount of football because we've had to depend on him, because of our midfield problems, because of the injuries that we've had. Every minute he seems to have been out there, but he's going to start again, I'm sure of it, in this game. And Fermin Lopez is likely to join him alongside their Sergio Roberto in midfield. Of course, there is the possibility to bring in Oriol Romeo. You could replace Gundogan with him, but again, you've got to try and stay somewhat strong in this game. And then there's a big question on Yamal for me, because he obviously played in both of Spain's friendly matches during the break. He played 90 minutes against Brazil on Tuesday, so he hasn't really had a lot of rest even over this international break here. So I don't think here we want to overplay Yamal. You want to play him, you want to see him, you want him to be out there, but we don't want to burden him right now. We spoke about that yesterday. So for me, I would rest him in this match. And also, by the way, Ferran Torres will return in this game too. He's been out since the end of January with an injury problem. He's been working really hard to come back over the last few weeks, and I wouldn't expect him to start in this game, but he is available from the bench, and I'm sure that he will come on as the game goes on. Which, with all of that said, means that it should then be Rafinha on the right-hand side there of attack for Barca, coming in place of Yamal. He also started the game, don't forget, against Atletico Madrid, when he was actually quite distressed and quite unhappy that he was taken off in that game. And then at centre forward, should Lewandowski start this game? Because the point that I would make on him is that he actually played even more. He played 120 minutes plus a penalty shootout there for Poland on Tuesday as they qualified for the Euros this summer, at the expense of Wales, by the way. Great penalty that it was, though, from Robert Lewandowski in the shootout. But I don't really think that he should start this game off the back of that there. You don't want to put him through another start on top of those lengthy minutes. So is it time for Vitor Roque? Is he actually going to get here a start as the number 9 from the beginning of a game? That would be absolutely brilliant for him. I think he deserves it there, and I would love to see him start here against Las Palmas, with maybe João Felix on the left-hand side, following up his goal against Atletico Madrid. We want to see him putting a bit of a run of form together. It would be really helpful for Barca here if João Felix was to really come alive with these big games. He said it himself, he loves a big occasion. He loves these big matches, and let's warm him up nicely here for those with this match here against Las Palmas. So that there would be my Barcelona team. That would see us make some rotations, would rest several key players there to be just in time and nicely prepared for PSG. But at the same time, that team can still win this game. That's important. We want to make sure that we still get the job done, that we keep that confidence going, and this team, in my opinion, would get that job done. Which means that we do now have to discuss the predictions for Saturday. And look at this, guys. I managed to add an option there for Barca to win by 4+ goals. We haven't seen that this season. I have not been able to even suggest that as an option because it hasn't really been on the table. But now we can dream. We can think about doing it, because let's not forget, Barca hit 3 against Napoli. They hit 3 there against Atletico Madrid as well. And could they also be on the score sheet several times here against Las Palmas? I'm going to go 3-1 Barca. I think we are yet again going to hit 3 goals, keep that momentum going. We might concede 1. There might be a few changes here and there in defence, but I think we're going to get the win. I think we're going to go into the PSG game full steam ahead, ready for the April battles to come. And please do let me know, guys, all of your predictions in the comments down below for this Saturday. What would your starting lineup be? What is your score prediction? And what are you hoping to see upon Barca's return? A huge thank you here to all the super thanks coming in. Really, really appreciate that support, guys, from the bottom of my heart. And a big shout out today as well to Manscaped for helping out with the videos. We are all coming together as one, and there is so much to come here on the channel in these massive weeks to come. I will see you after the game on Saturday for all of the reaction. I hope you guys enjoy it, and I will see you soon. But until next time, as always, Visca, El Barça.